Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Terry Hansen here. Welcome back to Traveling with Terry. Great to be with you on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Looks like we're going to have some wonderful temperatures. I'm excited to head into the office today and spend a little time with you talking about how you and I can be world-class change agents inside of our companies. So my wife and I have this old 1960s house that we moved into about 13 years ago or so. And this house is a really wonderful house. When we bought it out of foreclosure. It was a short sale. It was kind of a disaster. And the pipes were frozen, windows were broken, and animals were living in it, and it was kind of a disaster. So we spent the better part of, I don't know, 6 months or so fixing it up before we actually moved into it, and it turned into just a lovely 3,600 square foot home. And we've got 5 kids, and we fill it up really nicely. And one of my favorite aspects about our home is when you walk into our front when you walk in our front door, you immediately kind of walk into the kitchen area, the kitchen and dining room area. And the kitchen and dining room area are just one big kind of great room that's very, very open. And it also opens up into kind of a formal living room, which used to be the old garage. If you can imagine a 2-car garage being converted into a living room, that's kind of what the setup of our house looks like. And so you've got this really kind of 2-car garage, ginormous, big, open living room that bleeds right into a very open, great room kitchen and dining room area. But between those 2 rooms, holy cow, man, you can entertain a lot of people. And so one of the things that my wife and I really enjoy doing is hosting parties and hosting get-togethers. And because you can kind of pack, 30, 40, 50 people into this kind of area without too much heartburn. But there's one thing that we've learned over the years is that good entertaining and good party planning requires just that, planning. It requires a little bit of choreography where people are going to sit, where all the food is going to be, what the traffic patterns are going to look like. You have to kind of choreograph and plan how this is going to work out in order, where you're going to put the garbage cans, and just even those kinds of things, just to make sure that things run smoothly and go very well. And I've always appreciated my wife, because she's pretty detail oriented. She's a planner. She likes to have lists and things like that. I'm a little bit more of a just kind of shoot from the hip and wing it guy, but I also like things to be well organized and things like that too. So, but between the 2 of us, we throw good parties and we have a lot of fun. And I'm grateful for a space and a house that allows us to be able to do that. And I think of the importance of having a good plan and being well organized and just having a well choreographed experience or an event. And I think about that a lot inside of our companies. Oftentimes there'll be changes that happen. Sometimes there's departments, new departments that are created. Sometimes there's new software that is adopted. Sometimes there's somebody who's hired brand new. There's always a lot of change that happens inside of our companies. And there's one thing that I've learned over the years about change and about our human nature is that we, as a human species, we resist change like nothing else. We hate change. It's uncomfortable. It's scary, and it just is no fun. So we work really hard to resist change to most degrees. Now, but what do you do as a manager or as a leader when the change that you want to introduce into your organization is one of those that's badly needed, very vital and critical to continue to have your company go to the next level? Well, I've been in my master's degree that I just finished up. As you guys know, I spent the last 2.5 years working hard on an organizational performance and workplace learning degree, master's degree from Boise State University. Just wrapped that up, and I wanted to share really a 5-step framework for helping you and I, as managers, owners, leaders, who have to become change agents, the agents who initiate and choreograph and implement some sort of change in our organization. And if we don't do it the right way, then we run into a lot of bottlenecks and train wrecks. The change doesn't get adopted. People don't change their behavior. People rebel, people resist, and it becomes this kind of massive, train wreck, as I said. So, but we want, when there's change to happen, we want to make sure that the change goes smoothly and progresses evenly, and that things go well. I think we've all probably been the recipients of been through changes that haven't gone well, departments or software that have been created or launched or adopted, or people who've been onboarded, or processes that have changed that just have kind of failed miserably. We don't want any of that. So we want to be good change agents. And ultimately, in order to be a good change agent and successfully implement some sort of change inside of our organizations, we've got to be good planners. We've got to be good choreographers, and we've got to just choreograph things well. Well, one of the books that we studied and read is by a really smart gal named Diane Dorman, and she's got a funny book called The Chocolate Model of Change. And in that book, she talks about 5 stages that change goes through, or that people go through when they're asked to make a change and adopt a new process or adopt a new technology, or something like that. But step number 1 is really the awareness stage, where those who are adopting the change, or your employees, where they become aware of what the change is. And usually they're full of questions. They might not have any knowledge whatsoever about what's expected or what's going on. And so early on, stage 1 in the awareness stage, as a manager or leader, the thing that you need to do is be the greatest cheerleader, promoter, and advertiser on the planet. You need to put your advertising hat on. You need to think about email announcements. You need to think about flyers and posters all over the office. You need to think about newsletters. You need to promote and let people know that change is coming, that change is happening. You don't have to dive into all sorts of crazy detail about it, but you just need to make people aware that, hey, change is happening. Give them a shot across their bow and let them know that it's happening. So employ all the internal resources that you can to make people aware, and advertise the change as far and as wide as humanly possible. So that's step 1. Step 1 in being a good change agent and choreographing a good, successful change experience is recognizing that right off the bat, you've got to create some awareness about what the change is. And so you got to put your advertiser hat on and just do a good job there. Stage number 2, or step number 2, is after you make the announcement that change is happening, immediately all of the employees in the department and on your team will start becoming very curious. So curiosity is actually the second step, or second stage in the change process. And they're filled with questions. They're just, what does this mean to me? How do I do this change? Why do we need to do this in the first place? It's got a whole lot of who, what, when, where, why, how. Who needs to change? What's changing? Why are we changing? How is this changing? There's lots of questions, lots of curiosity. So as a manager, we have to combat that by simply starting the dialogue. We put together our frequently asked questions document, and we send that out. We do one-on-one conversations with leadership, one-on-one conversations with employees. We answer all the frequently asked questions, and we just dialogue. That's the kind of the action that we got to take, is we just dialogue and help answer questions. Make sure there's clarity around the who, what, when, where, why, how. So curiosity really is kind of the second stage in the change process that we've got to do a good job at choreographing and anticipating. Stage number three is in the change process is where the employees start kind of mentally in their mind rehearsing, okay, so I understand what the change is, and I understand who has to change and why we're supposed to change and all those sort of things, but how do I change personally? How do I make the change? What do I need to do? And they start kind of mentally rehearsing what the change looks like for them personally. And so they might be thinking about, like, okay, I know there's this new process or this new procedure or there's this new software, or this new employee, or this new thing that I'm expected to do. How am I going to do that? What does that look like for me? And they start kind of mentally going through the process of trying to figure out what that looks like. So naturally, people, after they've been made aware of a change and they've got all these questions and they've got those questions answered, then the next step is they kind of start figuring out, how will I personally make the change? And they start kind of gyrating a little bit on that. Well, as a manager and as a leader in your organization, the third thing that you kind of need to do to help with that stage is start demonstrating. Walk them through. Walk them through what the software looks like. Walk them through how to go through that new process, or help them introduce them to where that new employee might sit and what that employee might be doing. Like, demonstrate, give them a visual, hands-on experience of what going through that change, that new process, whatever the case might be, might actually look like itself. If you're moving into a new facility, give them maybe a tour of the facility. If the job description that they have is changing, then give them a written copy of what that is and kind of walk them through what that looks like. If there is, I don't know if there's some sort of new program, but just whatever it is, then just give them a physical, hands-on experience of what they need to do, so that they can kind of mentally process how they personally would do that change themselves. Okay, so fourth stage. So stage number 1 is kind of this awareness stage. Stage number 2 is this curiosity stage, where they've got lots of questions. Stage number 3 is the kind of the mental tryout, mental exploration stage, where they just are trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? Stage 4 in the change process is kind of the hands-on experience themselves. Now, as they get their hands on the new software program and they're kind of going through the technical aspects of the new software, or as they are trying themselves to do the new things as part of their job description, or as they're interacting with a brand new department, or as they are taking on a brand new role in their company and they're kind of going through the steps, the physical steps themselves, naturally they're going to fall flat. Naturally they're going to do some things good, sometimes they're going to do some things that are not so good, right? And so they're going to run into some technical issues with doing a good job at adopting and applying that change effort there. Whatever the change might be. So in that time, now what do you and I as a manager do? We kick into trainer mode. Here's where we start providing the skill set training, or the technical training that they need in order to be a leader, in order to know where things are located in the brand new office, or how to interact and how to work well with a new employee, or how to go through the specifics of the process themselves. So they need some training. They just need some training and some good orientation. So recognize that you and I as a leader, when we announce a change, we got to put an advertiser hat on and be a good communicator and advertiser. Next, we need to be a good, as they got a lot of questions about it, we need to be a good dialoguer. We need to be a good conversationalist to answer their questions and dialogue and talk through what that means. Next, when they want to figure out, like, how do I do the change personally, then we need to become a good demonstrator. We need to become a good presenter and just show them what to do and how to do that, right? And then as they get into it and they start doing that, they're going to be bumping their head on various areas and just confused. Then we need to turn into a good trainer. Does that make sense? How your role as a manager kind of changes and shifts and adopts and morphs as things go along. Well, that's critical for a well choreographed change process. In managing change throughout the process. Well, last but not least, the last stage in the change process that your employees will go through is finally the adoption stage, where they've been made aware of it. They've got all their questions related to it. They've kind of choreographed it a little bit in their mind how it might work. They've got some hands-on experience and they're actually doing it a little bit. It's not great, but the last stage is when they are fully bought in and they're in the facility. They're actively using the software. They like it. It's showing some great results. Things are going well there. But at this stage, they're usually the ones that are coming back to you with some feedback. Hey, I noticed this thing about the software. I noticed this aspect about working with this new department, or I noticed this thing about the new office space that we are in, or they're usually coming back to you with some sort of feedback and suggestions for additional changes or modifications to improve things, right? They've gotten their hands dirty enough and they're experienced enough where their feedback is actually really, really good feedback. And so as a manager and a leader now, your job changes from really pushing on this and managing the change and pushing it forward and trying to get it going, to you're kind of stepping back and moving out of the way. And now you're kind of providing like a block and tackle role. You're in a support role. You're helping provide them resources to do their job quicker, faster, easier. You are creating some good, maybe technical support, some procedures, some process manuals or something like that to help them along the way. You're even providing reinforcements. You're providing maybe rewards or recognitions for job well done. You're calling people out who are doing an incredible job in their new job descriptions, or using the new software, or working with the new employee, or operating well in the new office space, or you're highlighting and rewarding and recognizing the stellar performance of other people. You're problem solving, you're troubleshooting, you're brainstorming about solutions to various bottlenecks here and there. But that's the kind of role that you're playing now at this stage in the change management process. So anyway, it's interesting, inside of our companies, we are constantly going through various kinds of changes. Sometimes those changes happen smoothly and efficiently, and they go great. But other times, man, oh man, they are a train wreck. They're a disaster. And getting through some sort of a change process can take unusually long and cost a lot of money. Inside of Arcane Marketing right now, several months ago, we recognized the need to have a marketing automation system. And ultimately, it's a piece of software. And it has taken our company for bloody ever to get that thing rolled out and used effectively. It's probably been the better part of 4 months that we've been talking about it and working on it, and implementing this new thing, which is a change for our company, has not gone well. It was not well choreographed. It was not well planned. It was not well choreographed, and it was not well announced. There was a lot of questions that didn't get answered, and there was not a real lot of great clarity on how we would use it. And even to this day, we're not actively using it yet at this point, and we're not at the point where it's been adopted. And so the leadership is really, because it wasn't well planned out, because it wasn't well choreographed, it's been kind of a nightmare, and it's been kind of a disaster and kind of a train wreck. So but these kinds of things happen all the time, right? So if we're going to do a good job as owners, as leaders, as managers, and knowing when change needs to happen inside of our organization, we would be wise to plan well, create a good choreographed plan, a good choreography for that change that goes through these 5 stages that we've talked about. Stage number 1 is awareness. Stage number 2 is curiosity. Stage number 3 is mental tryout. Stage number 4 is hands-on physical tryout. And stage number 5 is adoption. We've got different roles that we have to play as managers through each one of those stages with our employees and team members. But if we'll anticipate those, and if we'll think about those kinds of things, man, oh man, we will do a great job. We'll have slick, smooth implementation of the change. We'll manage change well. Everybody will love us. It'll go great. And we'll hit our return on investment, sooner rather than 6, 10, 12 months down the line that we want to. So anyway, in my master's degree that I just finished up, one of the classes that I took was a whole class just about change management. And it's a pretty powerful philosophy or idea that managers really need to think more about. Instead of winging change, we need to choreograph it well. And if we'll do a good job there, we'll get a lot of benefit, and things will go smoother. So anyway, I hope you guys have a marvelous Wednesday today. Here in Southeast Idaho, we're under blue sky. Should be like 65 degrees. Woohoo! That's like swimming weather here for us. And that's time to put on the swimming suit and go sun tanning. It's 65-degree weather. So that's a beautiful day. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Today is the 5th of May. And hope you guys eat some yummy Mexican food and do some celebrating and have some fun today. So have a great rest of your day. Keep up the good work. Love you all. What's up, Allison? Good to have you join here live with us. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep up the good work. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Did you know every company out there has what we call digital marketing blind spots? These are simple, hidden opportunities for growing and improving your marketing that most of the time people miss. Go to www.arcanemarketing.com and take advantage of our Rise and Ignite digital marketing analysis. It's 100% free to get fresh new insights and ideas to make what you're already doing that much better in 2021.